Hey, good morning. Welcome in. Welcome back, everybody. It's Laura here, and we're going to talk about the energies coming out the Twin Flame Collective today. We have 3 culminating transits, and they are actually pretty powerful culminating transits. We do have the Sun in Scorpio in a trine to Jupiter retrograde in Cancer today. We also have the Sun in Scorpio in a trine to Saturn retrograde in Pisces, and we have Mercury retrograde in Sagittarius in a sextile to Pluto. If you are new to the channel, hit that subscribe button down below. But let's talk about these energies and what's in store for the Twin Flame Collective. The chart you're going to see up on the screen there is the culmination between the Sun in a trine to Jupiter. And so these transits are happening pretty significantly close to one another. But I feel this cosmic trifecta of energies that I'm talking about is all working together to crack open some truth, okay? And I do feel this truth is going to be deeply emotional, and this is going to help accelerate soul alignment on the twin flame path. And so these transits are not just activating the collective, they're actually activating fated illumination, karmic clarity, soul level communication, especially within the connection. So let's talk about this, because the Sun in a trine to Jupiter retrograde in Cancer is all about emotional expansion, right? It's all about karmic nourishment. And I feel divine feminine breakthroughs in this energy. And so this transit really is going to widen. It feels like a widening of emotional bandwidth and a little bit of a scorpionic edge, okay? And so Scorpio demands depth, it demands honesty, and there's a lot of shadow work in the energies today. Shadow truth is what they want me to say. And so with the flowing energy of Jupiter retrograde in Cancer, it's like an inner energy of returning to our emotional roots. There's a lot of inner child healing in the energy with the transits today. There's a lot of karmic waters rising to the surface. And so I feel for the divine feminine, she's finally seeing why certain emotional patterns formed, likely from childhood, especially around abandonment and nurturing or giving too much. And for the divine masculine, it does feel like an awakening connected to how their avoidance has led to a lot of shutdown, has led to a lot of retreating cycles, which are rooted in this ancestral patriarchal conditioning. And the connection itself, I want to say, is receiving an upgrade connected to emotional safety. And so even if there's a lot of waves of emotional release, we have to realize this is like a heart expansion, a heart expanding purge, and we're softening, we're deepening, we're releasing the old story. The Sun in Scorpio, trine Saturn retrograde in Pisces, there's themes of spiritual discipline coming up, karmic maturity, stabilizing intuition, right? Pisces is intuition. And so this is really where our spiritual wisdom meets that accountability, I feel. And Scorpio is illuminating the hidden truth. Saturn retrograde in Pisces is asking us to dissolve the illusions, right? Especially where we've not chosen the higher path. So really for the Twin Flame Collective, I feel the divine feminine stepping into a deeper sense of spiritual authority with this transit, trusting the intuition without second guessing. And the masculine really is being pushed to take that accountability, to take that responsibility to the next level when it comes to his emotional and spiritual avoidance, especially when it comes to escapism and denial patterns. And the connection, I feel, is going to be gaining a new foundation of soul level maturity. We've got to clear the fog, though. We've got to clear the confusion and all of the karmic distortion. And so there's what feels like almost like a karmic correction in the energies today. And I don't want to say it's punishment. It might feel like it, but it is definitely a massive realignment. And so whatever wasn't stable is going to have to be rebuilt on solid ground. And whatever isn't real, that's going to be revealed. And it might be quite shocking, especially with Mercury retrograde in Sagittarius sextile Pluto in Aquarius, because Mercury is going to be dipping back into Scorpio tomorrow. And so major energies coming through of the judgment archetype with the tower, a lot of truth bombs, I feel, a lot of faded communications, a lot of revelations, and we're kind of rewriting the twin flame destiny. And so there's going to be a lot of going back to old past conversations, past truths, past miscommunications, so we can align with that higher wisdom. And I just feel This really is a time to electrify that truth. Nothing false is going to be able to remain after we go through this purging and this clearing, right? Nothing that is true can stay hidden below the surface. And so I feel a lot of the feminines are receiving downloads. They're receiving the epiphanies, the spiritual confirmations, and we're rewriting our understanding of the twin flame connection as a whole. The masculine is undergoing a massive mental transformation. There's going to be realizations. There's going to be massive ego breakdowns and clarity around their purpose as well, their ego identity and the devotion that they've been connected to. And so we're going to hit a pivot point here. I feel we're going to hit a massive energetic exchange point. This could be just in passing. This could be in a conversation, whether 3D or telepathically. But we're in this massive truth-seeking portal, especially as we go later into the week into Sagittarius season. And so a lot of the communication is going to be aligning with fated destiny points. And so there's a lot of emotional truth. Karmic mastery is here for sure. And soul communication connected to that Plutonian energy. We're in a purification portal of energies today, and old emotional blocks are going to have to clear through emotional purging. There's karma clearing. There's communication channels being activated. Synchronicities are increasing, I have to say. And the bond is strengthening, even if it's just the telepathic connection getting louder, because we are kind of being moved about and realigned with the next chapter. And we can't take the old timeline with us. So if you are curious about astrology and learning your own birth chart, I have a free guide. Comment free guide down below and I will send you the link to download the free guide to the basics of your birth chart. I also do have a monthly astrology membership where we dig into astrology, the planets, we build a foundation, and we keep building upon that week by week in order to use astrology as a tool to align to our highest path and our highest mission. And it is a great place in a beautiful community with all kinds of soul-aligned twin flames on the journey. So go check out the membership, and please remember, I do have 30% off all of my astrology sessions from now until the end of Mercury retrograde on the 29th of November. So if you've ever been curious about your birth chart, about a transit chart to see how the current energies are affecting you, or about a twin flame synastry reading, go check it out. This is the lowest price I've ever offered my sessions at, 30% off. It's a deal. All you got to do is enter retrograde at checkout, coupon code retrograde at checkout in all capital letters, and that will get you the 30% discount. Let's dig in with some cards. Let's see what the cards have to say today. Well, the opening oracle messages really are laying the foundation for the reading. I definitely see a shift in truth here and a shift in identity. So let's break it down. The first card out is the Gemini card. It speaks of cross-pollination, and it's a 3. There is major divine feminine Empress energy coming through. So I could be speaking to a feminine with a Venus in Gemini. Doesn't have to be. You could have prominent Gemini in your chart. But this is a divine feminine internal recalibration. And I do feel this is connected to Uranus retrograde. It was in Gemini and it dipped back into Taurus. And so we're cleaning something up here. But I feel the Gemini message is the opening of the mind. With the Empress vibration here, this is like opening up the womb of truth for the divine feminine. This really is the place where real communication is about to be birthed, where the feminine is seeing exactly where communication has been blocked, possibly distorted, oversimplified, or even just avoided, right? And so I feel the feminine's perception is being adjusted. The feminine's truth is ripening. Her voice, her throat chakra, her voice is being activated. Her voice is returning. And this could also be a direct link to Mercury retrograde in that sextile to Pluto. And so conversations returning, unspoken truth resurfacing. There could be telepathic sparks here or spikes. There could be miscommunication cycles being rewritten. I feel gossip too. Maybe social media shadows coming up, revealing some hidden dynamics or gossip about the feminine, about her social media platform possibly. I feel somebody is tasting this truth, something about through the grapevine. I heard it through the grapevine is what I just heard. And so there is a sparkling divine feminine Empress energy here that people are talking about. And I do want to point out the Gemini card does mirror the energy of the twins. And so there's a dynamic within this connection that feels like it's being mentally rewired. Then we go right to the Leo card and it's saying shine, shine that light, divine feminine. I also feel this is the divine masculine confronting his relationship with his ego, with his pride, with that hunger for attention or validation from multiple people. And so someone here, a divine masculine here, could be trying to fill a void through a lot of external validation, external energy, whether it's admiration, social attention, or third-party validation. This is performative confidence, I feel. And so I feel with Saturn retrograde in Pisces, the illusions are dissolving. So we could have a masculine here, Leo, sun, moon, or rising. But there's fear of being wrong, I feel. There's fear of admitting a fault. There could also be fear of vulnerability. And that's all being illuminated by the Scorpio sun energy, right? Leo rules the heart. And I feel Pluto is kind of cracking open the masculine's heart chakra, whether he fights it or not. That's going to be up to him. But there's like almost like a forced maturation here or a heart-led accountability being forced. And then we go right into the 8th house of death, rebirth, transformation, mystery, right? The 8th house is shared resources. It's the house of intimacy, and Scorpio rules the 8th house. There's like an underworld layer here with Scorpio's domain coming through, and it does directly echo the transits of Scorpio today. And so this is manipulation cycles, I feel, or power struggles, withholding, fear of intimacy. There could be a shared karmic contract here rising to the surface. I feel somebody here is trapped in a cycle of emotional or financial control, where somebody's hooked by a karmic cord tied to fear or even scarcity or survival, like a scarcity mindset or survival. And I did feel that over here on the bottom of the deck, the tarot deck. And so what's the truth, right? I feel there's like a last shadow purge here before liberation. I feel this 8th house card is marking a moment before a rebirth. And so there's confrontation here, confronting your worst fears and realizing that you can't run away from your fears anymore, right? And so the bottom of the deck, we got Jupiter card. We got the Jupiter card. And so this is all about expansion. We do have Jupiter retrograde in Cancer right now. And so we're expanding our emotional truth. We're expanding our karmic lessons. We are expanding our heart chakra, right? And so this is also linked to overdoing, overgiving, overindulging, overspending, over escaping. I've been doing a little bit of overspending lately with the holiday season. But I do feel a King of Wands energy coming through where somebody went too big, too fast, too far. And now there's like the facing of the consequences, where Jupiter is saying, hey, it's time to shift your philosophy if you don't want to repeat the cycle, Mr. Divine Masculine here, okay, with the Mars energy. Okay, so let's talk about the tarot cards and how these transits kind of play out in the tarot cards today. And so there's like the mind versus the material world here. In this top row, we get the Palace of Swords. And this did come out in yesterday's reading for the weekly forecast in a different placement, mind you. And it's in reverse still. The Ace of Coins. So the Palace of Swords reversed to the Ace of Coins upright to the Knight of Coins in reverse. And so this screams Mercury retrograde and the sextile to Pluto all over this top row. There's distortion, there's fog, there's muddled perception, there's avoidance, there's somebody here refusing to see the truth that I feel is like right in front of their face. I think there's an illusion around money, right? Because we got the Ace of Coins. There's an illusion around money. There's an illusion around a luxury lifestyle as a mask of avoidance. There could be false material stability here, mental overstimulation for sure. And I just feel denial of some type of truth. There is a fall here of a mental castle that somebody built, and maybe even tearing down a false sense of logic. But the Ace of Coins is like a gift, right? This is the gift. This is a grounded new opportunity. This is a new timeline being seeded and a real world chance to choose differently, right? And so for many, this could mean money. This could mean money clarity, truth around a money mindset. This could mean a shift in a career or a job. There could be a change in home. There could be a physical health shift here. There could be a grounding in of the union path. But there's a stall with the Knight of Coins in reverse. There's like a freeze. Somebody could be in a freeze pattern. There's a forced slowing down, especially with Mercury retrograde. I'm feeling the force. The forces working against me. Someone refusing to follow through. This could be someone afraid of commitment or discipline. Someone could be losing everything by going too fast too, or being too careless. And so I think this top row is saying slow it down a little bit. Get really real, because there's going to be an opportunity to rebuild correctly. But you have to get to the heart and soul here first. So we get the Two of Wands in reversed. The Four of Swords, that's the central energy, the Four of Swords. And we see Jupiter, Libra there. We see Mars and Aries. And then we see the Judgment card in reversed, which is linked to Pluto. Indecision, right? And so powerless, connected to non-action, right? This is like the refusal to choose. And that is a choice too. When we refuse to choose, we're still making a choice. So this is somebody who has handed maybe their life force energy away, whether to fear or to another person or to a circumstance or to an illusion that somebody else is going to make a decision for them. And so there's masculine energy being blocked here. There's an initiation that's been avoided. And the Four of Swords, this is Jupiter energy. And we do have the moon transiting in Libra. So I feel there's heart healing here. Spirit is putting someone on a forced pause because there's mental exhaustion. There's emotional burnout. There's soul depletion here. The truth is on the heart. Somebody's been sleeping on this heart truth. They've been sleeping on it. And I feel the literal message with this is you have to feel it to heal it. So the Judgment card, this is definitely connected to Pluto. This to me says the refusal to awaken, the refusal to answer the call, the refusal to rise when spirit is demanding this evolution. There's karmic avoidance and spiritual procrastination here. And so there are no shortcuts on the journey of awakening or twin flame. We cannot spiritually bypass. I feel this wake-up call is getting louder and louder and more persistent, because I feel the masculine has been hiding from his destiny with the twin. And so this is the outcome. This is the union timeline. And so I really got to say, like, the union path is wide open. The feminine is going. She's going places. She's moving towards that inner union. And so the pathway is open, but it's not going to stay open forever. So I feel the feminine is reaching a milestone moment. She's walking through a portal. She's walking through a doorway. And the masculine must walk through it with her, or he'll be left behind. And so the future is waiting. So if we keep doing what we've always done, we're going to stay where we have always been. And so there's a need here to heal grief. There's a need to face what I feel is an emotional collapse. I feel an emotional collapse here. There is a need to let go of a dramatic narrative and to look at the 2 cups behind you, right? There is divine partnership still here, but I feel the masculine right now is being forced to look at how their suffering has been self-inflicted. And they do this through avoidance and fear of intimacy. And so we're kind of in the home stretch with the final battle, the 9 of Wands, the final test, the last testament, I want to say, the last will, the last wall, the last wound before the breakthrough. This is spiritual endurance. And so I want to say, like, we're almost there. We are almost there, but the masculine is still feeling defensive. I think he's feeling tired, resistant, but this is completion energy. This definitely feels like completion energy, right? And so if you remember, we had the 8 of Wands come out in the weekly forecast yesterday in reverse. And so I feel like there's still blocked communication or miscommunication patterns here. But I feel we're at the destiny shift here. I really do feel we're at the destiny shift. And so right now we're being asked to commit to healing. This is it, right? This is the message of the entire spread, I feel, is commit to your healing. Commit to your self-work. Commit to your own stability. Stop waiting. Stop spinning. Stop hoping somebody else is going to come and do the work for you, because nobody's coming to save you. Nobody's coming to do the work for you. This is like the inner union work that we need to do. This is where we begin to build the life that we want. And then when we build the life that we want, then we become a magnet for the twin flame connection to evolve and for union to open. Okay, so let's talk about the destiny shift here, because there is chaos and conflict, right? We got the chaos and conflict out. And so somebody here is trying to change their stripes. But there's integration. I feel the integration of the Gemini and Leo energy and Scorpio kind of all in one card. There's ego versus truth here. There's the identity versus the soul. There's illusions versus purpose. And so chaos is not punishment. Chaos allows us to reorder. We don't actually embrace real change when things are easy. We embrace it in the chaos. And so chaos is truth breaking through the distortion. And so I think the twins are mirroring opposites right now. And there's a clash, and the clash is going to bring an opportunity to clear the karmic residue. And so the storms always bring the clarity, right? But the bottom of the deck is connected to the core wound. We get the orphaned card, right? We get the orphan card, and here we get healing, the 5 of Pentacles, right? Putting in the work. And so this is abandonment, this is rejection, this is feeling left out, this is feeling unchosen, feeling unworthy of love. And so the separation wound is being activated because Pluto is uprooting it, so we can release this attachment to loss. So oftentimes I feel we get so stuck and attached to the loss that we forget to rise above it. We're not here to fit in. The twin flames are not meant to fit in. We are not meant to contort ourselves to be loved by another person. We are meant to operate from a higher path, not operating out of fear of being alone. We can't be afraid of being alone because we're always supported. We're never truly alone. And so when we reclaim our inner safety and we stop abandoning ourselves, then the union timeline shifts instantly. And so really, I feel we are still in this purification portal, right? We have to be loyal first to ourselves. And then we can really jump into this co-creating journey. And so all 3 of these transits today in this reading really are saying we're removing every illusion. We're releasing every karmic distortion, every emotional block that has really prevented us from stepping into divine union. I feel the feminine is finding her voice. The masculine needs to find his heart. The connection needs to find that truth, and everything unstable has to fall apart so we can realign with our true destiny. And so we have to burn through the karma. We have to burn through the fear. And so there's a new chapter beginning, but first we have to rewrite the story, okay? So that's what I have for a message today. If you would like to go further with me with a personal reading, check out the webpage link below. And please remember, I do have 30% off all of my astrological sessions. It's such a great deal. All you got to do is type retrograde in all capital letters as a coupon code when you are checking out. And remember to go check out the Astrology monthly membership. We're digging into the generational planets in our next lesson. Next week will be a live Q&A. Actually, this week will be a live Q&A. So go check it out. I'd love to have you join our soulful community over in the Astrology membership. Have a great day, everyone. I will see you all again tomorrow.